all of you being here in this amazing weather. Seriously, thank you so much.
Now, not too enthusiastic, but
All right. We're going to go now on the second round of our panel. The second block of the panel is about how to become better allies. Because marginalized people need to move from the edges to the center. And I think everyone should be hired for their skills, not only for what they represent. Through mindful and not optical inclusion. Inclusivity goes beyond the lineup. If we pay, care, share power, and handle conflict the same way, we're just decorating inequality in a diverse poster. We're here to question patterns, unlearn, and reimagine. Oppression isn't an opinion, it's a fact. So instead of saying there aren't enough of them, those with privilege should ask, what are we doing to make this industry and the world a better place? So I want to welcome our guests, Sasha, Ojeda, Mendoza, Celine, Carmen Lisa, DJ Westfa, aka Joshua. Okay. So, like the first round, I'm gonna ask through the first questions, and you guys introduce yourselves. So we're gonna start with Sasha. Welcome. And so you are an advisor for. I'm gonna ask everyone that is here under the tent, please keep your voice a little lower so we can hear the panel, and I can also hear myself. Thank you. So Sasha, you are an advisor for the deputy mayor of for arts and culture, and you co-created the Night Vision project. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and having me. I'm Sasha. So I work for the city government. So I hear myself very loudly. So I've worked for the city government for lots of years, I think 7 or 8 years, and 5 of those I've been working on nightlife. There came an opportunity a few years ago when the new deputy mayor started for someone that was interested in my ideas in pioneering a vision on nightlife, and that became a participative vision, and it was a work of policy done with a lot of people out of nightlife. And the idea was that we started recognizing nightlife as a part of agriculture. This all happened midst COVID, when nightlife was suffering the consequences of having to be closed and not getting support like all the other arts and cultures institutions did get. And they were demonstrating, they were knocking on our doors, begging us to help them. And very ad hocly, we made a policy change to be able to help them. And from then on, I've worked on pioneering the first policies for Amsterdam, beginning with subsidizing nightlife for the first time since last year. And I hope to do that after the elections as well.
Nice. That sounds really badass. And wait, we have the question now. What foundational work are you doing to fight inequality in the scene, and what could further strengthen this collective effort?
So I think my work in the basis is that doing foundational work. Without the support of the city government, nightlife is struggling anyway. It's always been a DIY, do-it-yourself, try to make with what you have, and have a lot of people that have passion, and counting on just passion has gotten us so far. But I feel like people need to be paid fair. People need to be acknowledged for their work. And without government acknowledgement, we can just stay in the borders of everything, uninstitutionalized, unfunded. But people stop and they have to get a normal work, because just driving on your enthusiasm for nightlife, or only maybe in your 20s, maybe in the beginning of your 30s, but the rest of your life you have to actually do something for money. I feel like without support from the city government and from national government, nightlife is just going to be that, just a resistance on the borders, while there's so much going on that can be acknowledged as regular art.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really agree. And also, like you, I know you come from South America as well. And basically, in the whole continent there, our governments, they do not see the scene as culture. The first thing to be cut off the government fundings is culture and education. So I think Amsterdam is very advanced in that sense, still though with these struggles. And it's really amazing that a South American woman can be here doing this. I hope we can bring that to back home as well. Thank you. I love. Okay, so now Joshua. You were a key figure in Berlin and Amsterdam scene and the founder of Our Society, creating events, panels, and radio shows. We would love to hear a bit more about your experience.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've been organizing my own collective parties for 13 years, Our Society, where I initially started representing Black house culture, the sound where actually the entire dance scene started with. In my experience, there was a lack of representation in Amsterdam, so I slowly grew into that role. I started educating myself more, develop myself more, and trying to create a platform for established names, but also for growing names, rising artists, etc. And about 5 years ago, I moved to Berlin during the pandemic. In that time, Black Lives Matter protests became much bigger, and I became much more aware of my blackness, of my Surinamese roots, of my background, and I started developing that more. And I felt the need to do more for the community as well, to learn myself, but also to offer the platform that's been given to me that I've worked very hard for to others. So in my time in Berlin, I added the cultural part of Our Society with organizing panels, organizing a radio show where I discuss a lot of different social topics, fundraiser events, but also educating people through music. That's something that has always been one of my priorities at my parties. Never by telling them how I do it, but by experiencing it, by letting people experiencing it. The way how I do it is to create a storyline throughout the lineup, book a headliner, but make sure that a very unknown artist is playing alongside that headliner. I think that's a very important way of educating. Nowadays, the more soulful, deeper sound is becoming a bit more difficult to promote because BPMs are getting harder, it's getting faster. Our concentration span is very short. So I need to improve, I need to adjust myself as well. And I start creating more storylines in my running orders. The way how I do is to start a bit more slower, build it up, but also take it down at the end of the night by tempo and introducing people with different genres without them even noticing that they also move on different sounds than their favorite artists. So that's kind of what I do. I just turned 30, earlier this year. I turned 30 and I feel that I'm at a stage in my life that I gained quite some experience and it's my time to share that and also to share my knowledge with others and try to open up the conversation where I can help others, where I can help younger people as well, help people connect as well, because it's an industry, it's ADE, it's all about connecting in a way. And I think that's also a huge strength for others to connect and to share knowledge. I think that's it in a nutshell. And I DJ, but
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think your work is beautiful and your own existence by itself is a political statement. And like we were talking in the previous blog, the work comes from within. So if your intentions are aligned with your actions, your work speaks by itself. And if you get to connect in a personal level, not only the like flat business networking, that's how you bring people together in a safe space. Thank you. So now the Riot girls that are hosting the panel, thank you so much, Celine and Carmen. Can you share a bit about how Riot Collective began and about you two individually?
Yes. Hello, my name is Celine. And together with Carmen, we co-founded Riot in 2019. We both lived, I still live, but Carmen has moved to Amsterdam, of course, in the northern part of the Netherlands. And actually, I didn't know any women who was playing techno. And when I did go to a festival in Leeuwarden, I saw a girl playing an opening set with amazing techno. And I was like, damn, I need to meet her. So I approached her after her set and we talked for, 2.5 hours about being a woman, but also just about music and lots of other stuff. And then it began and we started RIOT as a collective. And firstly, to also get in contact with other women in the scene and just enjoying organizing parties. And yeah, because we were still beginning also. I think you DJ'd for 1 year and I for 8 months or something. And yeah, it became really bigger and bigger and it spread around Corona. We did lots of radio shows in different parts of the Netherlands, and it really helped shaping and meeting other women in the scene locally. We were also starting out and they want to help us and they want to be part of something bigger. And since 2 years or 1.5 years, we're also now a foundation. And we're trying to get money to organize even bigger things. And for me, wait, what was the other question personally?
You were already responding. Because Joshua also introduced himself, already responded. You guys did great. It's just like as two women with influence in the scene, what have you learned about using your platform to create real change?
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Do you want to... Oh, well, yeah. Actually, I'm also working in making the festival sector be more sustainable and also pushing inclusivity in other parts. So not only as a DJ, but also helping organizers. So yeah, that's also what I do.
Yeah, good.
Both did.
Introduce yourself.
Of course. Well, I'm Carmelisa. I'm from Leeuwarden, Friesland. And that's definitely how we met in the northern part of the Netherlands. We were the only two women actually playing at that time. And it was so special to connect and not divide, you know. That is actually the biggest and the most important reason why we started RIOT, is that we saw so much jealousy and stuff against each other between women, and we wanted to go against it by uniting actually instead of dividing. So yeah, that's why we started it, and we created quite a big female collective around us. So
That's beautiful. Yeah, actually this whole competition amongst women, which seems like something super old school, and in our bubble it feels that it doesn't exist, but it still exists a lot. This is a systemic program that was done on purpose, because when we are together, we are stronger.
Yeah.
And the system doesn't want us to be stronger. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So the topic now is, when will we all uplift each other? Actually makes sense to what I just said. I want to ask Sasha, you work with many different people in your projects and research, also at your job in the government. What do you find the most effective way when breaking through systemic hierarchies?
So the most important hierarchy I'm always fighting against is my own organization. I work in government, and working against your own government to get new things across is a daily basis. Nightlife is a new policy objective. A lot of people find it super interesting. A lot of new politicians think it's a way to profile themselves. But it means in an old structure where old people work, where the same way of working has existed for 20 plus, 40 plus years with the people that work there from the first job they got until they leave, which is regular in government in the Netherlands. You know that you're fighting not just a prejudice against nightlife, that it's just having fun and doing drugs. You're fighting their values in their own job. They think that holding peace in a city is their job. And they think that what we're doing is breaking that premise to citizens, that keeping peace is what their job is. So there is that on the one side for my job. On the other side, I'm also a member of the nighttime community. And for me, one of the most painful things is seeing us fight each other, seeing organizations fight each other, and there's a hierarchy in that. One of the most telling ones is a discussion that keeps popping up every so and then is festivals against clubs. We take our club scene for granted. It's the foundation of nightlife, and it will always be the foundation of nightlife, even in a city that is about events. But currently you see clubs finally getting a voice and telling festivals, you are undermining us by hiring fees, by doing exclusivity deals with all kinds of DJs, which makes queer clubs, for example, in the summer not able to book their own residents. And that discussion is only come to us because they finally went to the press, because they finally made it political, but it has been going on for so many years, and it only shows us how long those hierarchical lines can exist, because no one dares to speak up, no one wants to be unpopular. But I think that is the best way. You have to challenge them, so you have to speak up, you have to maybe seek the press, you have to be unpopular.
Yeah, exactly. You have to take advantage of that, because in a first world country, you don't get murdered for that. You know, where I come from, it's really difficult. We had this, nobody got murdered, but from our scene. But we had a little bit of this group with the person that was the advisor of the Deputy of Culture, where representatives of the biggest parties in the city, we were meeting weekly for 6 months to discuss fundings and better ways. But we were so afraid to give our details, numbers, informations, because it could be used against us. So we just dropped out, unfortunately. So
I think Tijana said something about this. It's a very privileged position to be in, to tell other people what they should believe in. She was talking about her Russian friends, but we do this with every war. So from us, a Western white perspective, telling people that we think that their dictatorships are bad, and you don't have any friends or family living in those areas, and you dare tell people how to live their lives or what to abide by, I would watch that. And it's a very privileged place to live in. We can fight for what we want, and we can say what we want. But telling people coming from wars, coming from dictatorships, how they should behave because you read a book on Marx,
not nice, not the mirror. Okay. All right, Joshua. How do you perceive power and privilege dynamics in our scene, and what could strengthen alliances that bring people together beyond the parties?
Can you just repeat the first part?
How do you perceive power and privilege dynamics in our scene?
Yeah. I think it's very important that, especially people like us who are playing around, we play internationally, we do have this network, we met a lot of people, that we are aware of our influence, the platforms that we have, and that we, in my opinion, that we make sure to use our platforms in the most effective ways. I think the dance floors, the dance scenes are always a way of resistance, a way of protest. And in my beliefs, it's really important to realize that the power you have as a DJ as well, and how you can influence others, especially the younger generation, etc. Especially right now, there's a lot of wars going on in the world. A lot of people don't dare to speak out of it, but in my opinion, there are kind of smaller things that you can do to show your power as well, and the privilege that you have, that we live here. You can do it by wearing a certain keffiyeh, a certain T-shirt, etc. If you don't dare to politically speak out, there are smaller things that you can do as well. And I think it's our job as DJs to be aware of our power. But I think it's also very important that we, as people with a European passport, that we need to be aware of that power, and that we do need to speak out about the others who are struggling more. Also, during a week like this, Amsterdam Dance Event, the entire industry comes together. There's so many people together, and stuff like this should happen more often. This is such a powerful thing, and such a beautiful way of acknowledging this power and translating in that. And that's the second part was, how we
How could how could we strengthen alliances that bring people together beyond the parties?
yeah oh yeah
You said that a bit in the introduction, but
Yeah.
let's go deeper. Yeah.
That's really funny because at a certain moment I was really thinking about my parties. Like, hey, how can I connect those people off the dance floor? Like, how do I do that? Like, obviously, when I go out, I meet people. So, like, hey, let's go out for dinner next week. I don't see them for 2 years. And I wanted to build that connection because at my parties, it's called Our Society. It's something for us. We connect, we come together. But I wanted to create that off the dance floor as well. I personally do that to organize community talks, panel talks, and create this actual safe space to discuss more sensitive topics with people who are like-minded, with people who are actually want to be allies, and to connect with one another. And I think that that's a really powerful tool, and that like a lot of promoters are really focusing, and clubs are focusing on community work. And this could be a very strengthening way to connect one another, to have a look how we can organize stuff during the week, community get-togethers, dinners. How can we share our culture, our personal cultures? We have so many different cultures over here on the couch. Like, we can connect next to that by organizing dinners, etc. So something like that.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I think it's important to know a bit more in a personal level what's going on in the lives of vulnerable and marginalized folks, and make them feel seen and actually see them and what's going on in their lives, because they are highlighted in the parties. They're tokenized. Sometimes they're not even seen as people, and they're still struggling, not having normal jobs, and the lower the privilege is, if you're talking about transsexual people, if you're talking about people that don't have money, people of color, and expats and everything, like, they need support in a daily basis, They need to work not only as figures, So I truly believe it's so important to know the people who you are working with.
Yeah, and I would like to add to that as well. I do hear from a lot of people who are not from marginalized groups that they do feel overwhelmed with all the different stuff that is going on, the differences with people. I have a lot of feedback from people who tell me, like, yeah, but it's not my story. I cannot feel what the experiences are. And that's fine. Don't even try to, but be aware of your power. Be aware what your voice can do by speaking out for other minorities. A lot of times we speak out for our own people, for our own groups, and we keep on shouting to one another, but we don't reach the others. I would say for non-marginalized people, be aware of your strength and the impact it has when you speak out about marginalized people and oppressed people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, woo. Exactly. Like, I feel that if we only talk from girl to girl, we're just repeating ourselves. If I cannot be an ally with men, and then a stray man, and then a stray white cis man, and then they are not gonna also educate amongst themselves. So and everyone is working class in the end, So the system is one, and we're all below that. Thank you so much. Okay, now wait, because the question is on my phone. Okay. Now, the RIOT girls, from your experience as DJs and promoters, how can we dismantle old patterns and create new, healthier ones?
Well, I think one of the most important things is actually what Joshua also just said, like that we are not going to walk in rounds, we can sit as girls together all the time and speak about our problems, but how are we going to solve it, That's the next step. We all know the problem. And looking at that, it is not about just coming together, but also working together with those people who actually don't get it, for example. And that's what we also really try to do, not only connect the women with each other, but also organize together with men that actually used to not get it, and kind of let them see what the importance is. Like the biggest importance is that we are role models to other women, to other girls, to believe in themselves. I had so many stories or texts from women that felt so inspired by, I think it's so cool what you do, and it really gave me the power to also do it, and trying to keep in that humbleness, but do striving for the goal. I think that's the best combination to have for yourself, but also as a collective. So you not only collect the right people in your collective, but also convince the people who don't get it yet to also see it, And we do that with stage hostings on festivals, for example. We had a stage hosting last summer on a festival. We are from the northern part of the Netherlands. We're quite farm girls. We're not from the big city, although I live in a big city now. So we get to see all the different parts of the scene also, And we still see, of course, we are a bit more educated here in Amsterdam, but on the countryside we are less educated, for example. But in the underground scene we are more educated. But if you look at the bigger festivals, for example, you still see only white older men on the stage. Why is that? And if you don't step up and only start shouting, as Joshua also said, you're doing this, or you're marginalizing me, or la 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 la, then it's not going to work. You need to learn what their language is, kind of, and then let them see, So that's actually how we do it. Yeah, you can add something.
I want to add something to that, because I think for us was a constant thinking process of who gets us, and we want to collaborate, but only with people who gets our message. And then later on, we switch to, okay, maybe they don't get it yet, but let's see what their language is. And we switch to be more open to others. And they also became more open to us, instead of you need to get us because we are right. We are doing something good. We were getting more open, and that really helped.
Yeah, by being more flexible yourself, you also create flexibility by others. I think, that's the point of what you said.
It's like the topic from before, but now we're getting more to practical topics. But it's still about frequencies, and words have frequencies, has energies and intentions. So it's really important that we are very balanced when we need to face these difficulties and struggles, because also, again, I'd experienced myself in my scene back home that the scene got super united, super flinta, super queer, super POC. At some point, everyone is fighting. Everybody hates straight white men, and then nobody knows what's going on anymore. And I'm like, how everybody's gonna learn if everybody hates each other? And then you're just repeating in a micro version. You are repeating the oppression of the system. It's like an inception of oppression, So
yeah, we also sometimes say the more inclusive you try to be, the more exclusive you become.
Period.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this is the last topic. How do we participate and educate ourselves? Sasha, what changes do you wish to see from institutions in the next few years, and what gives you hope that they are possible?
So I think a lot of it has been said. I hope to see less fighting in our scene. But one of the biggest things, it's not just a personal irritation. It's just so hard to see people fighting each other on little things instead of coming together and fighting bigger oppressors. Because it's so easy to speak to each other, but it's much harder to speak to something hierarchically above you. So it's very easy to look beside me and say, you're doing it wrong. But it's much harder to speak up. No one is listening. No one is looking down. And that is one thing in general. Something that gives me hope and change is seeing still how many people and younger generations want to get into nightlife, unguided and unchallenged by any kind of knowledge, just doing their passion, and that gives hope into that. That doesn't end with us, even though it feels sometimes that some things are losing out of our grip, but it also just has to do with the fact that we're not of the current generation anymore, which is also something to accept and to uplift and not just criticize because it doesn't fit my musical taste. So I think, yeah, that would be my adding to all the things that have already said.
Yeah, we have to remove these furniture people from the government, you know, and put like a younger generation to start.
Please.
They're gonna die or something.
It's up to us. They're not even in this conversation. So it's also a reflection on myself. Like, do we get them on the table when we're talking about them? Often not. We often talk about them.
Yeah, because they are the table, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's why I see that.
Not the condiments, but the table. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Okay, Riot Girls, what values guide your decisions when building safer and more inclusive spaces?
Well, it's hard. Our core value, of course, is that people can accept us as DJs and as organizations, and that we have respect for each other, and be open-minded for new people and new challenges and towards the scene. And yeah,
I think what the most important example is our friendship actually within the collective. Yeah, it's cute to say, but it's
sorry, that's what I wanted to say.
It's super important.
Now, what it is we are so different and in many perspectives, but we accept each other. And I think that is something that, it's from within, but it's in the whole world, you know. Everyone is unique and different, and that's fine, you know. That's nice. So don't judge each other on that. And I think that's also our friendship, you know, that we are so different people, but we leave each other in each other's worth. And I think that's the most important lesson out of it. And that's also, what we try to give.
And I think it was said on the last panel, you see it and feel it in our events and parties and the things we organize, because, we are this way. And then we give this energy back in what we organize. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I can personally say, because we've been preparing this panel for quite a long time, at least 2 months, and it's been really nice to work with you girls. And
likewise.
Yeah, I hope this is just the beginning. And okay, and Joshua, what steps do you take to educate yourself about different marginalized experiences, and how do you use your platform to raise awareness?
The way how I try to educate myself is a lot by documentaries and stuff like that. I personally try to avoid asking a specific person who's from an oppressed group or a marginalized group, like, hey, how is it actually to be a woman, to experience that? Because it's such an uncomfortable thing to ask. I'd much rather have someone telling me the facts instead of asking me those sensitive questions. Obviously, read the room. Sometimes in a more cozy personal setting, you feel that it's okay. But I personally try to...
Why?
Sorry?
I wouldn't mind if you asked me, like, how is it, you know?
But it's... For me, it's different. Like when I'm at a party right now, for example, and I need to explain to someone why they shouldn't touch my hair. Like, it's just not the moment. You need to know that before even trying to touch it. So it depends on like the level of the question, you know? And for me, it would be so much better if someone would be sitting next to me and just say like, yo, this is the reason why. So it depends on the level. It's also like, you know, I think it's a really stupid thing of me to ask, even though I'm a queer person, but I'm a guy, to ask you like, hey, how uncomfortable is it to walk between so many straight guys, you know? That's something
that's also objectifying.
Yeah, and that's something that I, as a man, should educate myself about if I care about it. And that's something that I do. So that's why with those topics, I must say, there are a lot of different topics you can and kind of have to learn about. So I also, the way how I educate myself is start changing my way of communicating by asking more. Like I'm Dutch, I'm straightforward, like way too straightforward sometimes. And I learned that. I sometimes hate it when some people tell me some stuff that I just don't want to hear. So I try to be more questioning, like, hey, can I ask you something about your race at the moment? Can I ask you something about your background? Something like that. If the person say no, it's done. If the person accepts it, is open, that's a way to start educating yourself and others, I would say. And the way how I use my platform, it depends. I must say, speaking out politically on social media, especially because still frequently I still lived in Berlin, is becoming dangerous. Because we're being censored, we're being arrested, etc., etc. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm slowing things down with sharing that on my social media, but I try to have bigger impacts in real life with my gigs. I do wear a keffiyeh, for example, for representation. I try to use my platform to do that. With my own events, I represent Black artists. I try not to label it like that too much, even though we live in a time where it's almost important to use labels, almost necessary. I try to do it by showing it, by showing the artist, showing the artistry, and showing the history behind it as well. I do think that, like, especially right now, like, about a lot of topics, I'm really straightforward. Like, I still have a very strong opinion about stuff, but there are facts. There are a lot of facts about racism. There are a lot of facts about discrimination that I fully stand behind. But sometimes a lot of people could feel offended when you speak that out too straightforward. So I try to make it a little bit easier and just show it through different representations by, for me as a male promoter, booking female artists, making sure that that I book more female artists, but not try to do it in a way just to check boxes. I booked like 3 guys at my parties. I couldn't care less because I know that 2 weeks before that, I curated an event in Fabric with like 6 Black female artists and 1 trans artist. I try not to brag about it, but I try to just do it and find the right balance. I think that's also, and I think that's kind of how I try to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. I also think like, who are we asking these questions? Because like you said, if like all the experiences that I learned from others, it was not asking direct questions like that because it's indeed invasive and rude unless you are close to the person. But I just made myself open and accessible, and I became friends with all kinds of people. So they would naturally feel that they can trust me and they just share it with me. And just living with them on a daily basis gets me to know them, you know. And also, like, as a woman, like, the question that was asked the most to our female DJs in interviews is like, how is it to be a girl in a male-dominated environment? Do you still feel discriminated? At some point, I was like answering a Vice magazine interview in a conference call. They asked me this question, and I told them, like, guys, you are Vice magazine. If you want a good article, please stop asking this question. We can't stand it anymore. Why don't you ask dudes, what are you doing to eradicate discrimination, and how are you educating amongst each other? Because at the moment we are women, we are already discriminated, you know. Stop that. Don't answer that question anymore. And okay, cute. No. Yeah.
I think it's also very important that a lot of people are speaking out, but like, yeah, I want to have everyone to be equal, blah, 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 blah. I think it's really important that we should acknowledge our differences and the fact that we're all different and start there. I think as soon as everyone realizes that we are different and we're never going to be equal, I couldn't care less. I don't want to be equal as everyone. I'm so proud of my skin color, of my tattoos, of my hair, of my lips, of my unique side. I think it's like, if we really want to make a change, be aware of your own differences and that we are all different and build from there towards.
Yeah, make the differences be as valuable and beautiful in their unique way and have equal opportunities. and not follow any standards, because everybody is unique. We should just have the same access to things. But unfortunately, we are not.
It's not reality, yeah.
And we're not treated equally. So it's important for me to be aware as a cis woman that it's my duty to protect the ones that are below my privilege level because they are not treated the way I'm treated, So I think it starts from there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Go, man, not. But that's nothing.
okay, so to close this, I just want to leave some questions hanging in the room so you can some homework maybe. So how do we awaken authentic collective responsibility within ourselves and spark it in others? And we should reflect on privilege offers leverage to change systems, not using it perpetuates injustice. Educating, learning, staying curious, and making knowledge accessible are key. And structures exist both inside and outside us. So I have a last question for all of you. Just to break the seriousness here. If you could
Still party hours.
if you could give advice to your 10-year-old self, what would it be?
I mean, and enjoy the victories. Like I've been starting organizing my own party since I'm 17, and actually in the early years I had incredibly successful parties selling out 1,200 tickets. But as soon Monday arrives, I was already thinking about the next thing and how to become bigger. And we live in such a fast-paced world that I would really tell my younger self just enjoy the victories and enjoy the moment and enjoy the people around you. It's so easy to take this for granted, to take friendship for granted, to take Holland, to take the metro, whatever, Albert for granted. But just be aware of the people around you and the time of age. My 10-year-old self, I don't wish to be 10, but 15, 16 again. I would love to be back then and just careless. But I would tell myself, stop stressing too much about the future and just be in the now and enjoy the ride.
Stay present. Good one. How about you, Carmen?
Well, I would say I used to be quite naive, maybe, because if you're a good person yourself, which I think I am, I hope I do my best. I have to say that you sometimes think that a lot of other people are also good people, and in the heart, every person is a good person, but not everyone acts out of goodness. They also have a wall and a past and sometimes other intentions than you expect or than they say. And it's very important to be aware of that also, just not only looking through the wall, but also see the wall. And getting more into your gut feeling instead of, listening to what's being said. Only.
Cute. Yeah, that's pretty complex to say to a 10-year-old, but
That's true.
I was also thinking about that.
But I think
it was very good advice. Every answer it's correct. There's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you. How about you, Celine? What would you tell to your 10-year-old self?
I think I would tell a little Celine to do things for herself, because still I say a lot of yes, 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 and I have lots of energy. I can do lots of stuff in a day and in a week, but sometimes I ran too fast and doing lots for others, and that's good, and I embrace that I can do that and I want to do that, but maybe to tune in more with what little Celine wants and not what others expect from me.
Word. Thank you. How about you, Sasha? What would you tell little Sasha?
I'll keep it short and sweet because I see my friends are dying of cold over there. This is our audience. I would just say that things will be okay, and that things will work itself out, and that I could just be a kid for a while. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty valid. And also keep your inner child alive. It's really important. I'm also going to answer the question because it's too cute. I would tell little Amanda that never let someone tell you you can't do something, because if they tell you that, they have a problem and not you. And okay, so thank you so much, everyone that came today. This was beautiful. This is just the start. The next time, I promise, it's gonna be inside. We're gonna get there.
Okay.
Next time, we promise we're gonna do it inside, and it's gonna be cozy and warm. And yeah, now we're have a little Q&A. You have a question?
No, all right.
Okay, so can you sit? Can you sit here because of the microphone, please?
No, thank you much. Thank all of you for speaking, and I liked all of you. But sorry, what's your name again?
No, Joshua.
Joshua.
Yeah.
You were saying about inclusiveness and that we're not all the same. And for me, my whole life growing up, I had lots of different friends and also lots of different skin colors. And for me, comedy was always the big equalizer. If I could make fun of somebody and somebody could make fun of me, that was like our way of treating each other. And I was just curious. Like for me, comedy is the way to get to know other people. What's in your in your mind the solution to be okay not being equal, because that's what's gonna be.
Well, also to specify, I think it's just important for us to acknowledge that we're all different, but that we respect each other equally. There's a huge difference there. Seeing each other, the two of us we're not equal, we're not the same, but I would respect you the same way as how I respect my friends. And it's also very important when it comes to these topics. Believe me, when I'm at home, I could make really extreme jokes with my friends. But when I don't know you, I'm not going to test it out. And I don't know what type of jokes you find funny, and you don't know what type of jokes I find funny about myself. So that's why I do think it's important that we need to be a little bit aware that everyone's approach and everyone's interaction is differently. And I think it's only a strength if we would realize that we're all different, but we respect each other the same way.
Fair.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to not be cautious with anybody you don't know.
I think we need to be very cautious about that.
And the more we give a voice to the insecurities about ethnicity or skin color or everything, the more we give a voice to that, the more separated we
do
become.
not agree. So lightheartedness is a privilege. To be lighthearted about any kind of subject is a privilege of knowledge, a privilege of knowing someone. To be lighthearted about any kind of subject, either be war, skin color, discrimination, is something that you feel in your heart you can do to someone because you have either had the same experiences or know what the fuck you're talking about. What you're saying is just flatlining humor as a way to connect, and it's legit, but it's not a legitimacy to just wipe away people's actual feelings and hurt just because we can be lighthearted. Lighthearted is something you earn.
No.
Exactly. Just to complete this, I don't know if you were in the very beginning of the panel, but I said that these guidelines, and also it's about not debating, but constructing and resolving, and also learning. Of course, everybody should have curiosity, but it's really important to understand that if something doesn't happen to you in your reality or your opinion that it's X, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen to others. So it's really important to be empathetic and aware that people that have different levels of privilege, have different experiences, they are not treated equal by the world. So
I think
that
what
answers
he means is actually that he is. I think I get what he means, because you have joking around with each other and you have joking around with each other, you know. And some people joke around because they mean it, and some people they joke around because they are already beyond the ego, and then the joking around is funny. because then you get the intention. Then you're like friends and you're pissing around with what is like objective, you know. But yeah, there is a difference in those things, and that feeling is something. Yeah, you have to feel it.
I need to give space for others to ask questions if you have anything to add or ask something. And we will be sticking around for a bit, and we can always chat. And Celine and I are gonna play a surprise back to back now at 9.
In the secret room.
Where is the secret?
Oh, Joshua wanted to play as well.
I'm playing as well.
Really?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, cool.
You have to be to me.
Yes. Where is the room?
It's in the back. Here, like the container.
Just follow the sound.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Happy ADE.